Live from his mom's basement, you're listening to Make a Rule, the podcast. You make a rule, and we follow it. All while talking about whatever's on our mind. But if we break that rule, we drink. Now grab your shot glass, unless you're driving, and join us as we get a Swifty.
How's it going? This is your host, Frank, and I'm joined here with Red. How you doing, Red?
Yo, I'm doing excellent tonight. How about you, Frank?
I think we're a little bit more tipsy than we thought we would be before recording this episode.
Well, just a little bit of pre-gaming never hurt anybody.
Yeah, a little bit of pre-gaming never hurt anyone. All right. So the basic premise of this podcast that I thought of was make a rule. So I wanted it to be a typical podcast that anyone can make, where you talk about trending topics, you talk about stuff going on in the world, you talk about what's on your mind. But I wanted at the very beginning of the podcast, I wanted to make a rule.
Yeah.
And whatever that rule is, if you break it throughout the podcast, you have to drink.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, but at the same time, like, hey, how about we make it fun for the audience as well? Every time we break the rule, how about they also drink with us as well?
That's a good idea if they're willing to take on that task, because some of these rules later on future episodes will probably be extremely hard, and I don't know how well I'll be able to handle it. Today's episode is obviously everyone wants to be monetized, and a big part of that is swearing. So I think I've already marked this podcast as explicit because I'm guessing that we're already going to be swearing in this podcast. But for this episode only, as our first episode ever, I want it to be our first rule ever is no swearing. And so if you swear, or if I swear, then we have to take a drink, a big gulp of our 9% alcohol chew highs, which are extremely popular in Japan, but they are extremely strong. And they get you drunk extremely fast. So the more we swear, the more that we drink, the more this conversation, I have no idea where it's going to end up at.
Yeah. So like, these chew highs, so to say, from Japan, they will get you pretty fucked up. Like, you can drink them.
All right, did we start the rule already? Because you already swore
I
already.
don't know. I thought we were still talking about. We're still talking about the rule. We're still talking about the rule. But then, if you drink them, they'll hit you up like later in the night. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they have that sleeper effect.
All right, so we are officially starting the rule right now.
Okay, well, fuck it.
Oh, there you go. Drink up. I'll say fuck it, too. I'll drink up, too. Just to get a little preamped.
Yeah. It's all good. I mean, like.
And we have already decided that this is explicit. So I guess we're not going back on that word.
No, I guess we're not going back on the explicit content that we're trying to put out here on the podcast.
All right, so first, I would like to say that I am Frank. I'm the host, and I recently found out that I am, I guess, born in Generation Z, which I didn't know that. I'm 1996, so I didn't think 1996 was Generation Z. I thought I was at least a millennial, because that's what I feel like my generations are the ones that get yelled at about being a millennial.
I know,
but
you are the one that gets yelled at.
Apparently, I'm a Zoomer. I'm the Tide Pod eating generation of the world.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you're the millennial.
They are. They are.
Hey, you're the fucking millennial. Okay,
all right. So you got.
I'm not very good at not cursing. I don't know.
You gotta tell me what years apply to Generation Z.
Generation Z is 1996 to present time, right?
1996 to
so
present.
we're the Zoomers. I don't even know when they're going to stop that.
So what's the generation before that? What's
Generation Y or millennials, which are apparently what you are, 1977 to 1995. I don't know why I'm the cutoff here. I thought I was at least a millennial. I feel like I'm so newborn now.
I feel like Generation Y, when they came up with that term, was like, you know, for Y2K back in the year 2000, when everybody was connected all on the internet and everybody was getting scared. They were stockpiling water, food, and all that jazz. And everyone was like, all right, you know, the internet's going to take over. It's a bad thing. This is Y2K. It's going to shut down the rest of the world. And everybody got scared. That was it. I feel like that's what Generation Y should have been. That's the cutoff right there at the year 2000 was Generation Y.
Well, then I wouldn't even put. I thought
that
would at least be part of Generation Y. But if it's after 2000, then whatever. But I do like how it says 1997, 1995, and it says known as Yoomers or Mills, which is funny. Wait, I just read that right now. Yoomers. I know that they always call Generation Z Zoomers because they call Generation X. I mean, not Generation X. They call baby boomers boomers. Yeah. And so I always that's funny that Generation X. This list that I'm reading right now doesn't even have a little acronym for Generation X. Generation X is just Generation X. Generation Y is Yoomers and Generation Z is Zoomers, which I'm guessing is what all started part of like OK Boomer. Obviously you needed Zoomers or I guess Yoomers, which is the first time I've ever hearing of Yoomers.
I thought the X would have been Zoomers.
Zoomers? X?
Xoomers?
Starts with Xoomers? What?
You know, like xylophone. You know what I'm saying? Like xylophone, the X, and then XOOO.
It says known as the I Want My MTV generation. That's what.
Which one?
That's what it says. X generation is.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But that's before the 70s, right?
Yeah, I mean MTV for me was more like not music videos. It was more like Jackass, and I guess that's a swear word. I'll drink that for that.
I want my MTV. No, that's when they had the barely like the CRV, cathode ray videos, CRV TVs they had back in the day, you know, and they had the grainy video that gave you TV, and it wasn't really that good. It was probably like 360p or 480p. I'm sounding like a fucking Zoomer, right? I'm sounding like a fucking Zoomer.
Yeah, drink for that one right there.
I drink twice for this fucking 3 times for this bullshit. 4 times.
Right there.
I'm ready to say like, hey.
All right, if you were thinking this podcast was not going to be clean, good luck with that one.
Well, I'm just trying to say it. I'm trying to get my point across. There's 1, 2, 3, and there's 4.
That's 4. Right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but
we're talking about so I'm Generation Z. I guess I'm the babies. I'm the very
you are.
Small now.
You're the baby.
I'm the very
you're
beginning.
The baby.
Hey, I'm the very beginning. I'm 1996. I'm the oldest one of the babies. Don't be calling me baby. All right. So
I'm gonna call you the baby every now and then. Now.
All right. So Generation Z, I got my first phone when I was in.
So when did you?
4th grade, elementary school. 4th grade is when I got my first flip phone.
Hold on. I'm gonna ask you this question. When were you introduced to computers, or a cell phone, or something like that? A computer.
I don't remember
a
time that I didn't know that computers exist.
No. When did you first experience a computer? At what age?
I was probably in middle or elementary school for computers too. Like I had a family.
What about
computer.
cell phone?
Cell phone. I got my first cell phone was in 4th grade. I don't remember ever caring about anyone else's phone. I don't think when you're a kid you care about anyone else's cell phone. So when I got my first cell phone was in 4th grade for Christmas.
You know what I cared about when I was in the 4th grade?
What did you care about?
Cared about Pogs.
Pogs? What is Pogs?
Like wow, Pogs, like here we go.
Frog?
Whoa.
Like the frog from Twitch? Like
oh my God.
Put Pogs in the chat.
Are you serious?
I remember Pogs like that, like Twitch chat. Pogs.
No. I'm talking about Pogs. Like, when you had the popular version of Pogs was Poison. All right. So you had Poison and it had these skull bones, but these Pogs were some paper, round circle Pogs that you take your flatter. The flatter was the metal slammer. You have the slammer, you have the flatter, and then you have the, I forget what the one was called when it was just a small little circle, and it was like almost like a 5. It was pretty thick, but you take your slammer, and then you put your Pogs face down on one another. There was your enemy's Pog, and there was your Pog. You put them both down. You both agree. You're like, okay, I'm going to use my slammer. I'm going to try and flip over these Pogs.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
If you flip over the Pogs, you win the Pogs. You win.
Oh, wait. I think my sister had those. Yeah. They're like little cardboard pieces.
Yes, cardboard, paper.
You used to cut out your own, or you used to buy them?
No. So like, there was popular versions of Pogs. There was Poison, and there was a lot of other ones.
I used to trade them.
Yeah, I used to trade them.
Yeah, my sister, who's also 10 years older than me, as you are, used to have those like all the time. So I remember seeing those, but I never knew what the hell they were. So
like the Pogs, right? Pogs, you put them down, and you be like, hey man, just pretend me and you we're gonna try and fight for some Pogs. I'm like, all right,
like Pokemon,
kind of like Pokemon. All right, so I'm like, hey, I will put this down, and then what are you gonna put down? And we both agree on it.
Yeah,
and then we're like, okay. And then now we take out our slammers or our flats, like
which are like
there's
ones,
like
and
the
if
metal.
You flip,
there's like
if you flip the is that where you flip it? If you flip it, I remember my sister explaining it to me. You like hit it down. You hit
it down,
and if it flips over your pod, you win that.
Then
pod.
you win. Yes.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
And there was a certain strategy
in 4th grade.
There was a certain strategy to like flipping it over. You got to hit it a certain way. Like you got to hit it right on the tip, but not exactly on the tip.
So you had all the pods.
So I had a lot of Pogs.
Yeah, because you win every game. I swear.
Wow, man.
If we play any game, we play Mario Party, we play Smash Bros, we play Tekken. I don't care what game it is. The gods,
Street Fighter.
The gods align.
Street Fighter.
The
Mortal
gods
Kombat,
align in some
Dragon Ball, Budokai,
Asylum,
Tekken,
or whatever you call it.
Smash Bros.
They all align to where you always win, and I never get that. You always win every game, so obviously you had all the paws that they're.
No. I was really lucky. I'm not gonna lie. So like, a popular version of the Pogs back then in the day was this version called Poison.
Poison.
Yes, Poison, and it featured this like skull, sort of like dude. Okay. So a lot of the art just had bunch of bones and skulls on the Pog, and it was like Poison. And there was like regular, just not just regular art of Poison, and there was the shiny version, kind of like the hologram shiny version of Poison, and those were the ones that you wanted to get, and those were the ones that was like, oh, boom. Boom. I got it.
You're stealing everyone's pods.
I had
Pogs? Is it Pogs or pods?
Pogs.
Pogs. Like
Pogs.
I don't even know where Twitch got their pogs. And
what do you mean?
They always say put pogs in the chat. Pogs.
Pog champ.
Like POG.
They say put pog champ.
Yeah.
When that's like that Asian dude that goes like, ah. He's like, he just fascinated by like, oh man, look at that shit. Wow, fuck.
You gotta drink for that one.
Fuck.
I think that's a naughty word right there.
When they say, PogChamp, and he's just like, his mouth is like wide open, and then he just like is so surprised at the play that just happened. It's kind of like if I were to be surprised at anything, it would be Daigo versus Justin in the Ken versus Chun-Li video. That's the one for E3. You know what I'm saying? That's the one where I'd be like, PogChamp.
Right there.
So.
All right. There you go. I drank it. You're drinking like a lot. We pre-gamed a lot before this podcast.
Yeah, we did. But it was all right.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Well, as you know, that when you're saying that you're talking about Gen Z, right?
Yeah. And I was saying that what I was focused on before this whole conversation happened, I said I had a phone in 4th grade, and he said that he focused on pods. So me as a 4th grader having a phone, I thought it was the most reasonable thing ever, because when my teacher tried taking my phone away,
here we go.
I thought that was like, now you stopped communication between me and my parents. Like I thought that was like a huge thing. So when my teacher took my phone away, because for some reason I was using it during class, even though obviously back when I was in 4th grade, there was no unlimited internet, unlimited texting, unlimited calling. For some reason, I was using my phone. My teacher took it, and then when she took it, I said, "What if someone shoots a school, or what if someone like bombs a school?" And she thought that I was threatening the school, and so she called the cops, and the cops came and interviewed me and all that stuff. For some reason. And I had to explain, like, no, I didn't mean it like that. I just said, what if this situation happens that I can't call my parents anymore because my phone's taken away? I thought my phone was the most important thing in the world to me in the 4th grade.
But what were you doing? What were you doing with your phone though? That you thought?
I don't even remember. I don't remember.
Were you messaging your friends? Were you
probably
playing games?
Texting someone.
Because
I was probably texting someone because, even though texts weren't unlimited, texting was like the big thing. Like, when I was in middle school, or when I was in elementary school, a lot of people like had phones. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the iPhone came out when I was in middle school.
Shit, not for me, man.
So before middle school, when I was in elementary school, that was when like the BlackBerry and like certain other phones,
get your
like Androids and all
mobile,
that stuff.
bro.
Like no one even knew about Apple. Like so, like everyone had, like some people had like the iPod and stuff, but no one had like the iPhone because it wasn't invented yet, obviously, until I was in middle school.
The only phones that I had were like the Nokia. The original Nokia.
I don't think I ever had the Nokia.
And
I remember seeing the Nokia because I think my parents had the Nokia.
I forget what version it was called, but the only thing you can change on the Nokia was the faceplate.
And you can't break it at all. Yeah.
I mean, you kind
of... The battery fell out, but it was meant to fall out.
Yeah, it was meant to fall out.
So that you could put it back together to where everything's good. But...
Yeah. It didn't have
the
much.
actual Nokia was not meant to be ever broken. Which nowadays phones.
So like the games you had on there were like.
I had Snake.
I had Snake and Super Mario.
I didn't. What, you had Super Mario on your phone?
Yeah, I had Super Mario.
What kind of advanced technology were you on?
I had the Super.
What year was this?
It was like
Was this wait
before the year 2000?
2000?
Yeah, before
2000.
Yeah,
Super
before
Mario?
2000. I had the original Super Mario game. You got to realize, Super Mario game
on a phone though.
Super Mario Land. This is what I had. I had Super Mario Land.
I didn't even know Super Mario could be on a phone.
Yeah, it could. And then it was also on the TI-86.
The calculator?
Yeah, the calculator.
The Super Mario was on the calculator.
Yep, Super Mario was on the calculator.
This is blowing my mind right now. I didn't even know that
Super
was
Mario
possible.
was on the calculator. Back when I was taking calculus, when you had the TI-86, you know, everybody had the TI-86 because, like, the only calculator that was allowed to take the ACT and SAT was a TI-86. So if you had the TI-86, you know, you could use this calculator, but that was it. You couldn't use anything else after that. And then I had Super Mario and Snake on that calculator.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. It was a certain thing to acquire, but given my nature, which was I was a big ass fucking nerd.
Right there.
And all right, well, fine. I was a big nerd, and
that was the F word.
What? That was. I said I was a big nerd.
No, I'm talking about. What you
said I got it. I got it. Don't worry about it. No, I'm saying I was a big nerd in playing these games on these calculators because the homework and everything was just like, that's the thing. At what point in your child's life, now that I'm looking back on it, how would you challenge them, right? You want them to be like challenged mentally. So I went to a couple private schools beforehand. So I went to a private school in the 9th grade. I went to a private school in the 10th grade. I went to 2 different private schools back in my high school years. I went to Manuel Private High School, and then I went to Albuquerque Academy Private High School. And then both these high schools were like, oh, yeah, you know, your son is doing really well. He's excelling in the science and arts. English, he's kind of lacking, but it's all right. And everything else after that, and like history and all that, he's good. He's excelling in Spanish and whatever. And then my dad was like, he's doing so well. Why are we paying so much more for them to tell us that he's doing well? Why can't we just put him in a public school and just put him in these programs where he has to deal with advanced math? So I was like, all right, fine. And then that's where I went. I just went to the advanced math in the public school. And I'm just telling you.
So you went private school, and then public school?
Yep. And then public school.
Or 11th and 12th grade?
Yep.
All right.
Finished it out after that.
I was all public school for my entire time.
So I'm telling you, man, I could have probably been public school the whole time, but it took private school to tell the public school, it's like, hey, he is ready for these courses. He is more advanced.
I was too scared to take calculus and stuff.
Yeah, so
like I finished like
I enjoyed it,
math classes, but I was too scared. I was like, I'm gonna take a simple class because I don't want my like junior senior year to be like stressful.
Yeah,
I didn't want that.
You shouldn't be afraid of that because like the friends that I made that were older than me, you know, I was in the same classes that they were, and I just got along with them, and it was just one of those things where you can just get along with them, and that's it. They're your friends, so you're not the fucking total nerd.
Right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, God damn it.
I know. I'm not talking as much as you, so I'm not cursing as much. I'm letting you take all the talkingness. I feel like that pregame, man. I am screwed up.
You screwed up? You that messed up?
I'm pretty messed up.
You're not that messed up. You're good. You're good.
I don't know.
Good old Frank.
I'm over here trying to like when we start going off topic or like I'm trying to think about how we can continue the conversation, and then I'm just at that point where I'm like, man, this is hard to do. It's hard to not think about not cursing because it's a rule.
The podcast. See, you just can't.
And
just
it's
can't
hard
think
to
about that. Don't think about that.
I'm
just
trying to not think about it.
Like, just let it flow naturally, man.
I'm letting it flow naturally.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Freaking millennial.
Wow, freaking, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, he couldn't just say it.
Fuck you, millennial. All right, I'll drink to that.
There we go.
I'm pissed off that I'm not freaking part of. I'll drink right now.
I'm a fucking millennial. Hell yeah.
You're
Me and my boy
right, well,
Frank.
cheers to that.
Well, cheers to that right there.
I'm just mad that I'm not a millennial. I wanted to at least be a millennial. I didn't want to be part of the Tide Podding generation. Like
is that all there is to the Tide?
That's the only thing I know about Gen Z is that they eat Tide Pods.
Nah, I'm pretty sure there's more than that to Gen Z because you know
Gen
why,
Z?
man?
Gen Z says okay, boomer, and they eat Tide Pods. That's all I know about Gen Z right now.
They always say
because I thought I was a millennial the entire time. Like I don't know.
Every time I hear about these fucking
right there, you gotta drink
Gen Zs.
Oh man. I say okay, boomer. That's another post.
Yeah, they do say that. You know
okay,
what? Next
boomer.
time,
boomer.
Next time, I want to be like, hey, that's
Zoomers.
That's a rule.
As a responsible Zoomer, I have to say okay, boomer to you as a millennial. That is my job as a Zoomer. That's all I know right now.
Well, everybody knows where I'm coming from, so they're gonna take my backside and be like, "Hey,
they're gonna take your backside." Oh,
wow, man, such a pervert. These Zoomers are such, you know.
All right, from our previous podcast, I do have Lyle saying,
"Wow."
Right there's I have a little
okay.
button I can press.
Wow.
Right there.
Okay.
Or red right there. Red.
Wow. Yeah.
That's red right there.
That is me. That is me.
I don't know why I have that right
now. But another one of the things that everything that everybody shares on Facebook, it's just, I don't know, man. I feel like every time I befriend somebody and then I see what they post and it's just some random like meme all the time, I'm like, I never find it funny. I never really find it funny. I never really like, all right, you're just posting these things that maybe you don't believe in. You know, you're just looking for likes
on Facebook.
Yeah, it's like one of those things.
I know
Facebook is like.
So
how do you look at Facebook? How do you look at Facebook?
I look at Facebook. I think that Facebook used to be like something like I was lucky 96. That's why I thought I was a millennial, is because I grew up with MySpace. And I think you grew up with MySpace. Did you?
I had a MySpace.
Yeah. So you're a millennial. I'm a Zoomer, I guess. We grew up with MySpace, so that's why I'm kind of disappointed. So MySpace was the thing. You can actually have a song,
a background music song,
music song as your song.
I had a good background song,
and you could personalize your profile to have like a background image and
on
make
the page,
it look cool
on the page
and make it like all that stuff. And then we had Facebook come up and I joined Facebook obviously, and then like all of us joined Facebook. We were like,
Tom let us down.
Yeah, Tom. I was friends with Tom.
We were all friends.
Yes. And then what happened was our parents joined, and I know my mom oh my gosh.
Parents joined what?
My mom is amazing. I love my mom. So, I want to say that. But
hold on.
Let me post the most stupidest things ever.
Well, let me stop you here. Like,
yeah,
right?
Go for it.
So I know, like,
before I say something stupid.
Yeah. All right. Well, like, I know we all love our parents. We all love our family. All right. But then, if we're friends with our family and then we're on the same site, you're just like, what the fuck? You know?
There you go. Drink again. What the fuck? I'll drink it with you.
I got it.
Cheers,
it.
man. Right there.
I got it.
And it's only because, like, Facebook, like, okay, obviously, I think our generation knows that, like, don't believe everything you believe. Like, don't believe everything you read online. Like, obviously, look into it. And for some reason, my parents, like, any article that comes up, and it'll be from the fakest news source ever, on The Onion. The Onion is a fake news source. Their literal job is to post stories that are fake, and
Man,
so they'll
fuck The Onion. I'm gonna drink this right there for that bullshit.
But
twice.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, parents, like, whatever comes up on Facebook, they believe is the truth. And so there'll be news stories that are, like, ridiculous and, like, all that stuff.
I know.
And they'll just post it and share it on their Facebook wall as if, like, it's truth. And
well, do you think? All right, hey, hold on.
The most annoying thing is, like,
it's like,
obviously, like, so I don't think school ever teaches you about how to be financially responsible. And I don't know.
Nobody.
No.
Well, that's up to the parents. That's up to the parents. My parents told me to do that.
Your parents told you to be financial.
Yes.
So, like, it depends on, like, where you grew up, like, how they teach you and all that stuff, how to be financially responsible. So, like, the biggest thing that my mom definitely posts to me, she always shares with my name and blah, blah, blah. And, like, is like, look at this article, blah, blah, blah. This person is, like, 21 or 18 years old. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. All right, this person's 18 years old and they have $1 million, blah, blah, blah. They save this much money, blah, blah, blah. And, like, all this stuff. Like, that's what my mom posts me. She says, like, this person's 18 years old. They have $1 million, so obviously you can do it. And I'm like, well, Mom, if you actually read the article, if you actually click on it, you'll see that they have a job already that makes $100-something thousand a year, or 100-something, like, $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
And they can obviously save toward and invest toward that $1 million.
Just something else.
Yes. So me, as, like, someone that obviously doesn't make $100-something thousand a year, I'm not going to be able to save or invest the same amount of money that this person that they're sending me is making. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just like, why? What's the point of even sending me this article? It's just so you can brag that, like, some other kid is making, like, a shit ton of money.
No, I don't think she's trying to. I don't think she's trying to brag. She's just trying to tell you, like, hey, there are other outlets where you can make money. Like, hey, like, look into this endeavor. I see
that she's doing it as a good service.
So, like,
she's
why?
She cares for me.
So don't think of it.
I see that as, like, she cares for me, and that
don't think of it as a negative way.
But honestly,
or just ask
I'm horrible with my finances, and I buy whatever I want.
Just ask her.
Yeah,
that's it. At the end of the day,
just ask her.
Yeah.
At
the end of the day, just
honestly,
ask her, man.
I think that I'm financially, like, I don't think I'm financially stable, as in, like, if I needed to buy a house or if I needed emergency funds, I don't think I'm that level, but I think I'm comfortable. I think I'm comfortable with my life. I think that I make enough money to where if I needed food and water and I needed to live,
then you're good.
I don't think I'm homeless, or I don't think that I'm, like,
without a home.
Yeah, I don't think I'm, like, horrible.
There are a lot of
my financial situation is.
Let me tell you
but
this.
I don't think I'm a millionaire.
Let me tell you this. There are a lot of people out there that are a lot worse off. Okay, and then right now, like when you think about it, that are like the minimum wage that are working in McDonald's. Hey, man, they're struggling. All right, and then we're. I don't know if you want to say fortunate or not, but, we're a lot well off than these minimum wage workers. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Like, hey, we are well off being at where we're at, and they shouldn't hold it against us. All right? I'm not going to reveal too much about what job we do, but I'm just saying that we're a lot more well off than the people that are minimum wage workers, and those people I have the utmost respect for. Those are the people that I have the utmost respect for, the minimum wage workers, the guys that are like back home in the States, like that's it,
Yeah. All right. So I think that for our first podcast, I think that we're at a solid state right now. I think that you saw that not always we'll be able to follow the rule.
Yeah. No, I fucking follow the rules, so I'll take another last drink at the end.
I know. I think I need a little bit more drinking, so I'll say, fuck yeah. I think that this is an okay podcast. I think that we talked about a lot of shit. I'll take 2 drinks right now. Ready?
Yeah. It's all good, man. Hey, man, bro. People at the end one of the day want to,
I'll take 2 drinks for that.
Drinks and
I don't. For future reference, because this is the first podcast, make a rule. I originally thought it would be a great drinking game. I want to get more people on here. I want to get someone else over here. I have a 3rd mic, maybe a 4th mic.
And then also for callers too.
Yeah. So I want to get more people on here. I want it to be kind of like a drinking game. That's what I originally thought it was. But I do think that in the future, I want to get more of make a rule. And it doesn't always have to be the punishment is drinking. It can be, you make a rule and you can make the punishment too. So say the rule is blah, 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 and you can get tased, or you can get waxed on your legs, or you can get you have to do blah blah blah. I want that to be officially. You have to
do some fucking push-ups or sit-ups, and I'll drink to that.
And drink to that. Yeah. So I want it to eventually mature into just a typical regular podcast that we're trying to communicate our thoughts to each other and give our point of view. That's what I feel like this podcast, we gave our point of view, and we might have had to drink a little bit in order to give our point of view because we didn't follow the rule.
Yeah.
But I want it to be something that we can give our point of view. We can look at stuff that's going on in the world, and just something that will kind of make it interest or pique of interest that viewers see.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So this is the first episode of Make a Rule, and it was glad entertaining you guys. If this was entertaining at all to you guys, I hope you subscribe, download the podcast, look forward to future episodes, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Make a Rule, the podcast. We've had too much, so we'll see you on the next episode. If you have a rule that you want us to follow, send it to our email at myrule@makearule.com.
I love waking up drunk in the morning.